I want to get into this matter how we handle life. How we first usually try our way, or then we eventually come to God's way. We're called to seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, His ways, and that He would provide all our needs according to His riches, His ideas, His methods, all to finish before the world began. Things just wear out. So let me begin this article. We know that. We lived in this experience, couldn't imagine it any differently. But imagine me for a moment. Imagine living in a world where nothing wore out. Things just kept replenishing themselves because you believe this. The world around you would act accordingly. I ain't getting into New Age and positive thinking, just don't think that. Whatever form it was given, it remains. With it being connected to an endless supply, endless energy source to sustain it. With you being that connection between that seen, the material world, and that unseen, the true source of all energy that make up this temporal world. That's part of the right to the unborn now. We have such a connection. You would be like the spaces in matter, attracting positive to a negative world. Now you hear these in New Age movement. They're trying to get at this, but they're coming at it all wrong. They're throwing out God, Jesus, and Bible. Well, disrupting phone call. I'm back. So, pick up where I just left off. You would be like the spaces in matter, attracting positive to a negative world. This horizontal world gaining renewal from a vertical, positive, eternal world. A perfect world, being entirely without flaw. Now we're getting to this definition of this word perfect. I had another video come out talking about a perfect world. It's a view and perspective, as God views things, not as we have viewed through race, cultures, and creeds, and gender, and what we call the flesh worldview. It's a biblical worldview from an eternal viewpoint. A perfect world being entirely without flaw, meeting supreme standards of excellence, precisely appropriate or right, being such and no other, lacking nothing that properly belongs to it. In other words, a perfect world, something we all have never really seen. The above paragraph is the definition of the word perfect. Get up out of the Webster Dictionary. Why don't we experience this? A rhetorical question for sure, to which we all kind of know the answer, either blaming Adam and Eve, the devil, or evolution. Now, the secular world would have you believe that things are evolving higher, going into a perfect world someday. Utopian dreamers. Thus, would have you believe that the answer to the next question I have in my mind: has anyone ever experienced a perfect world? Now, Ray Kurzweil, this physicist, getting into his idea of singularity, manipulating genetics, right, is trying to bring a perfect world. And they claim they're going to speed up evolution. Because since evolution is too slow, it takes billions of years, they're going to speed it up, utilizing machines. All right, good luck. But from a biblical view, we know that this world originated from such a perfect world, with humanity cutting themselves off from the true source of supply, God, leading this world to a downward spiral ending in death. We see it. So we have questions with answers, with each of us having to make a decision. I said before you, life and death. Choose. It says in scriptures, if you live by the flesh, you reap corruption, death. But if you live by the spirit, God's view and perspective of things, you'll reap life, life eternal. For those with a biblical view, the answer to the question should be easy, as long as you leave out evolution, as they try to incorporate it. Let's get into this matter from a biblical view with our putting aside for a moment anything you may have been taught in our education system that's gotten that bad. Secular and religious institutions, many of them. Has anyone experienced any of this? Here's only one example. There's many, but in the Old Testament, in the 40-year wilderness experience found in the book of Exodus, the exodus of the nation of Israel out of Egypt, is recorded that their shoes, sandals, never wore out. Imagine that. In the Old Testament and New Testament, case after case of resurrection from the dead or healing of the body took place. Whether you want to believe this or not, it took place. So it is possible. It's a matter of question asked in the title of this article. Can you handle it? They don't believe it. Possibilities, to some degree of probability, to some degree of certainty is all that it takes. Just due to research with limitless evidence along this road of human history, the same evidence available to either camp, secular or religious. You got to make that decision. We can present all the facts and figures, and you have to make that decision. Most of us have gotten ourselves in various predicaments and have always chosen to follow medical, holistic health methods to deal with our dilemma. To take it, to change it, would be hard with our established beliefs we have set up, like pulling teeth and get people to change their mindset. But for a brief moment, just try to forget this for now and focus on these things I am introducing, not only here but in the rest of these chapters of this book or in these videos that have been put out on YouTube. Focus on these things I am introducing and just start small in your experiences. Don't try to do something like try to raise the dead tomorrow or something. With things you or science have no answer for. See if what I will be sharing works in these areas, and later you can backtrack, possibly dealing with areas established otherwise. The strength from seeing this work in current situations will be the strength you will need to handle those of past methods that did not work. It comes down to whom do you give glory, recognition to, from whence comes our help. Remember, the psalmist says that. He looked to the hills, from whence cometh my help? And didn't come from the hills, it came from God. It's powerful those hills may look. God formed them. For example, pharmaceuticals remedies are only graces God has given to us because of our failure to seek something greater. When you discover this something greater, the recognition and glorification will change. We are told that body exercises profits little human efforts. There's some effort and there's some possibility it works. Yeah? But godliness, God's way of healing and handling a matter, is profitable in this life and in the life to come. That's the better way. When we are willing to let old methods go, new ways come into to play. You don't wait for the days of adversity hitting and decide you're going to change your methods. You got to start doing that now. Speaking of things are not though they were, you may never understand it. You just start saying it and believing it. Usually the old methods have to fail us. Then we are willing to at least consider what God has to offer. My doctor says to me, you got 6 months to live. Now, if you haven't done your homework and luck got passed by doctors, many of them claiming to be gods, and their decision, well, you go off to get a second, third opinion. They all said the same. Well, we give you 6 months, one might give you 10 months, and one might say, well, we might try with this therapeutic radiation treatment. We might try this, we might try that. That's the way of us all. We do that. You would think we would seek first the kingdom of God first and what He has to offer, having Him meet our needs according to His abundance of life-giving sources. Either way, if you want to go away with doctors, no, I'm not going to fight that. I won't fight people. If that's where you're at, try it. But when he gets to the point where the doctor says, I can't do nothing for you, nothing more I can do, we've done it all. I mean, if you have not developed the inward man, which I get into in many of my series, it's renewed day by day. That compensates for this outward man that's dying daily. It's by the Spirit that's been renewed. And you put on that inward man, and he'll sustain you when the outward man's decaying. Either way, I pray that someday, that day come for us all. I've had some experiences just lately. Now, I might put this out as a separate video, but I'll just briefly talk about it. My son had wanted a deck. I mean, he ended up being 24 foot by 16 foot wide, you know, with his rails and spindles, and then he wanted some step down steps from a 4 foot height. By the time it got done, that stretched about 8 foot out, about 14 foot wide, step down 4 steps. I mean, it's awesome looking. I mean, and I'm saying to the Lord, I don't know if I can do that. Here I am. I'm 70 years of age, and I said, apart from you, Father, I wouldn't last a day. I mean, it would tucker me out. You know, I had to dig some like 20 over 20 some holes and put 4x4 posts that would support it. Well, this is getting framed out. Got half of it almost done here. I gotta finish framing this out. We just finished putting the rest of the post in. So next week I'll start this. It's been a week so far. Like, had one rainy day. That's about it. Then concrete, mix that concrete by hand. I dug these holes by hand, mixed the concrete by hand. My son helped me. I wasn't learning this. He has strength of youth. You know, we did that 2 years ago when I raised my roof. 1,500 square foot roof, raised it 5 foot. Tearing out the old, putting a whole brand new roof on it. That took me over 2 months to do that with the assistance of my son. Strength of youth. Even that tuckered him out, wore him out. I mean, what did I learn during this time? I said, Father, this is an opportunity. I wouldn't even venture to do it. People say, well, you're too old, you shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. I said, Lord, you say that the inward man is renewed day by day, and if I went with the outward man and go with the opinions of this world, the flesh, and the devil, I'm on my way to dying. So I shouldn't be at 7 years of age trying to take on a task of building a 24 by 16 deck. I said, Lord, not to put you don't tempt the Lord. Don't put the God out of test. I said, Lord, I want to see if this is true. You say that the outward man is decaying. I'm 70. Yet the inward man is being renewed day by day. And the Apostle Paul learns later on that you could put this new man on, and this new man will sustain that flesh that's dying and getting older. So at any age, if God wanted to do this, he would sustain you. So it took me a month. Son has a truck driving job, so a lot of times he wasn't there. So a lot of this stuff I had to do myself. I made my helpers. I call them my helpers. You make stilts and you make forms that hold things for on one end while you're trying to screw the other end. I mean, there's ways of doing it. It'll be better if two people on one end of the board and on the other end of the board. It makes it easier. Could have got done a lot faster. But it took me over a month, and then when my son was off, he helped me put up the spindles and some of the decking. I mean, some of the ramps, he built some of the ramps. I mean, we did it together. But the overall strength didn't come from me or my son. His strength of youth came from the Lord. And putting this thing about the outward man decaying, yet the inward man is being made new day by day. And that later on you can put on this inward man in those times of need. And I can tell you day after day after day. By the end of the day, I got done digging those holes, putting those posts, fixing up that concrete, laying the boards, framing it all out. I mean, I hurt. My body hurt. I could feel the aches and pains being 70. But every night, he would renew me. Not necessarily by food. I cut back eating during that time. I just got so busy I forgot to eat. You know, even his wife Danielle would ask me, "You want something to eat?" I said, "No, I'm not really hungry. I want to keep on going." It just slowed me down. So I just kept on working, working, working. I eat a little bit. I mean, God, I lost 20 pounds during that time. I enjoyed that. I wanted to lose some weight anyhow, and I lost 20 pounds. And I was able to see that what the Lord's saying is just not theory. I put it to practice. And I tell you, at the end of the day, I would go home aching and go to bed, and I would simply say, Father, thank you for your sustainability through the inward man. Tomorrow, I'm going to put on the inward man that strength, and I'll need that strength for that day. And I'll do it day after day after day after day. And you constantly have endless supply, renewed strength. It works. I mean, you just can't parrot that. It's taken me years of study to not only have the theory of it at first, and that's why you see the practical experience, getting beyond theoretical to the very practical experience. Guys, I know you don't be a fool and go out there and take on jobs apart from God. You'll end up dying. Listen to this world. So that gives you some brief idea. Like I said, eventually you're going to come out with a video. I don't know if I'm going to put it on here on YouTube. I might put it out to private of the. Took videos the whole process of the digging the holes and framing it out, laying the decking, and the spindles and everything else. How I built those steps. It took a month, 4 weeks, and it's complete, done by the grace of God. So I hope you got something out of this video. How do we handle life? It's through Him that we live, move, and have our very being. He'll sustain us. He not only saves us, He sustains us, and He will rescue you. So God bless you.